Hi, Joe Alton, MD here, also known as Dr. Bones of the survival website doomandbloom.net, co-author of the Book Excellence Award-winning 4th edition of the Survival Medicine Handbook, and designer of quality medical kits at store.doomandbloom.net. It appears that the fentanyl epidemic has gotten so bad in New York City that authorities have requested that all residents carry Narcan, generic name naloxone, to treat overdose victims in the street. Naloxone is an opioid antagonist that can reverse life-threatening effects of overdoses. The city health department is offering residents training on how to use the drug, which is now over the counter. One health official said that Narcan should be in everyone's first aid kit and even available at subway stations and other public venues. The catalyst for what would once have been considered a pretty outlandish request was the death of a 2-year-old boy who died after exposure to fentanyl. That's not all. New York City has experienced a 12% jump in overdose deaths last year. That's over 3,000 people in 2022. Now, why is this happening? Failure to control our southern border has led to the importation of a whole slew of dangerous drugs like heroin, fentanyl, and more by drug cartels. It's said the cartels are now the 5th largest employer in the country of Mexico. If you're wondering who's controlling the border, it's not the Mexican government, it's certainly not us, it's them. Opioids are so deadly because of their tendency to interrupt your ability to breathe, especially when taken in high doses or in combination with other recreational drugs. The family medic should recognize the signs and symptoms with someone who is overdosing. Expect to see shallow, slow breathing, a slow pulse, pale and cold skin, blue lips or fingernails, and altered mental status. Unlike the dilated pupils seen with some drugs, opioids cause pupils to be pinpoint in appearance. If you encounter someone who's unconscious, they need Narcan immediately. Fortunately, the drug can return normal breathing within 2 to 3 minutes in many cases. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has specifically approved the use of Narcan as an over-the-counter nasal spray. It's effective when given correctly. Narcan nasal spray usually comes in a package with 2 doses. If the first dose is ineffective, you can give a second dose without worrying about any additional side effects. Now, even if you're not sure that they've used opioids, you can give them Narcan anyway. It doesn't cause harm and it's safe to take even when you don't have opioids in your system. It's best to give Narcan as soon as possible. The longer you wait, the more likely it might be too late for the victim. Someone who begins breathing again after receiving Narcan can actually relapse after 30 to 90 minutes if they have very high amounts of opioids in their system. Because of this, it's important you call emergency services and stay with the person until help arrives to make sure they don't deteriorate. This may not be the easiest thing to do, as many victims wake up confused, agitated, and combative. Some say it's wise to keep a distance. So here's how to administer Narcan. You lay the person flat on their back, making sure their mouth is clear and the airway is open. You open the outer package of Narcan and you peel back then the inner packaging of the actual nasal spray. You hold the spray container in your thumb at the bottom of the plunger with your pointer and middle fingers on either side of the nozzle. Then you tilt the person's head back, support the back of the neck, and insert the nozzle into a nostril. Your index and middle fingers should touch the bottom of the nose. Firmly press the plunger to deliver the dose into the person's nose. Remove the device once it's delivered. There's only 1 dose per spray device, so don't press the plunger, don't test it until you're ready to deliver the drug. In extreme cases, you may still need to support their breathing with CPR techniques after the first dose is given. If the person starts breathing again and becomes responsive in short order, well, then Narcan worked. You can rotate them onto their side in the CPR recovery position and monitor them. If in 2 to 3 minutes the person is still unresponsive or not breathing, or if breathing difficulty returns, administer the second dose of Narcan. Each container comes with those 2 spray devices, remember, in the opposite nostril. You should be able to find Narcan at your local pharmacy. It might even be available for free. Every state and insurance plan has their own rules, but one thing is sure, it'll be an over-the-counter drug. You don't need a prescription. Unless things change for the better on the border, well, expect the opioid epidemic to continue unabated. There's apparently no interest in the current administration to solve our border crisis, leaving cities like New York to beg its citizens to save overdosed victims on their own. That still means 100,000 or more Americans will die every year for the foreseeable future. It seems strange to say it, but maybe it isn't such a bad idea to have some Narcan around in these troubled times. This is Joe Alton, MD, that old Dr. Bones, wishing you the best of health in good times or bad. Thanks for watching. Hey, learn more about off-grid medical topics in the 4th edition of the Survival Medicine Handbook and get your family medically prepared with quality kits and individual supplies from our entire line at store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.